clogged up, fattened, and full of chemicals. Remove all and finally let your liver breathe again. Let it reduce your inflammation and burn your fat. What is the real science behind liver detox that you can use to kickstart your metabolism and reach good health? We live in a time where supposedly everyone knows something about health and detoxing. See, one person is going to tell you, oh, cut out the fat and the meat and you will get healthy, you will detox. And the next person is going to tell you, only eat meat. And then the next person tells you about fasting, another person about smoothies and green juices. And then, of course, there are these absolute experts that are going to tell you that your liver does what it does anyways and there is nothing you can do about it. What I'm going to do in this video is give you the truth. Now you see, your liver, it's just there to clear toxins and detox. This is what most people now think, but actually your liver has a ton of functions and it's actually the largest internal organ. And for example, when your liver is not working correctly anymore because maybe of too many toxins, then you can't do these normal processes anymore. And it's almost like you're missing an entire organ. This is of course really bad for your body. This is also where chronic disease will manifest in some way. And let's answer the question, what is really bad for our liver? Now see, to get liver damage, you used to, one of the only ways was actually to drink a lot of alcohol. Now these days, you can get liver damage without ever consuming alcohol. And in fact, the estimated global prevalence of something called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is at 32%. This is 1/3 of the population. By the way, it's in adults. And another thing, it says non-alcoholic. That kind of sounds like they never drink alcohol. I'm going to be honest, the number is a little bit high for that. And I'm going to tell you, this only means alcohol wasn't the absolute primary factor. It might have been in this equation, but it wasn't the main thing. So 32% is pretty high. So let's take a look at some of the things that are so bad for our liver. And basically everything non-native to our biology is potentially toxic and usually toxic to us. So that means all of the modern chemicals. So this is also why we've got such an extensive and big list. Of course, we're going to start with something simple. Alcohol is bad for your liver. Drugs, medications. And this really depends on the drug or medication. And you've got to figure that out for the specific one, how bad it is specifically for your liver. But you've got to be careful with that. Pesticides, herbicides like glyphosate, for example. Cleaning agents. And if you didn't know that, when you're cleaning it in your home and you're getting stuff on your skin, it's actually being absorbed inside of your body, or you're breathing it and it actually ends up inside of your body and your liver has to take care of it. Cosmetics, and by the way, so like makeup, creams, and by the way, if you don't believe me, if you think this is bullshit, then go and check out some of the studies that I linked. Air pollutants, plastics, chemicals, specifically things like PFAS, if you've ever heard of them. High fructose corn syrup, so specifically the fructose part is the problem. Seed oils, heavy metals, preservatives like in processed meat and processed ready-to-eat foods, all this kind of thing. Excessive nutrients like in supplements, like in food fortification. And the last one, blue light. How that, you might ask? Well, very, very simple actually. Every single cell inside of your body has a clock. And only if this clock, this is kind of the circadian rhythm of every single one of your cells. And only if you go through this cycle like this, you can be healthy and your cells are really working. Now, if you've got, and this is by the way, artificial blue light, if you've got artificial blue light at the wrong times of the day, then let's say you were here and you get the blue light and you've been going through the cycle, you suddenly get back to maybe, let's say, here. And so your clock is never going through, it's always being set back. And this is actually a huge problem for your liver, as you can see in this study too. So detoxification and circadian rhythm are two things that should also be married. However, what we are going to do in this video is look at one of the primary ways for you to detox. So that, and there are really three phases of this. So there's phase 1, phase 2, and very important, phase number 3, because most people actually, from some of the stuff that you can find online, it only focuses on these two and they forget about the third one. However, they are all equally important. Now, another thing you have to cover is what is the point of detox? See, most people, they just think, let's say we have here ammonia. It's actually a natural thing that accumulates during protein metabolism. Sometimes we get ammonia, and we can also get them from outside sources by breathing it in. But see, this is a molecule, and let's say it's inside of our body, inside of our liver. We can't just destroy it. We can't just take it and be like, oh, go away. It's not possible, because there's something called the second law of thermodynamics, and it's kind of similar to this story, because energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be converted from one form into another. And so what the liver really tries to do with such a molecule is it modifies it in a way that it can excrete it. So the goal is excretion. This is really important, because things like this, that's really hard for our body to get rid of. So the liver takes the fat soluble things and it tries. This is very important because it doesn't always work. It tries to make it more water soluble. And so this is highlight this point. Toxins cannot be destroyed. They can only be excreted. Phase 1 detoxification. Phase 1 detoxification is made up of a collection of enzymes known as the cytochrome P450 family. So a lot of those are in this family, and they basically make these reactions possible. The processes used are reduction, oxidation. Those two things deal with electrons, so these small particles that have a negative charge. And this one, hydrolysis, deals with water. Now, you don't need to know that, just wanted to mention it. And what happens in phase 1 is you detox certain things like alcohol and caffeine pretty fast. So we don't even have to go to phase 2 or phase 3 detoxification for certain compounds. However, the more harmful, the harder to get rid of things, you're going to need the phase 2 and also the phase 3. Now, the interesting part about those more harmful things is they often become even more harmful during phase 1 detoxification. Ask, what's the liver doing here? Well, the goal of it is actually to prepare it for phase 2. And during this preparation, there's just some natural byproducts that are sometimes being created that are kind of harmful. But don't stress too much on this point. Some people, they want to sell you like, oh, take these supplements and like antioxidants. Antioxidants also have downsides in excess, and we've seen that in studies. So just your body is going to be able to deal with it. Also, during this phase, the ones that can't be detox fast become more water soluble already. Now, I'm really saying more, and not they aren't becoming water soluble, just more towards it. And there isn't like black and white, there's a shift towards it. Now, the things that you can use to increase phase 1 detoxification: B2, B3, B6 pyridoxine, B9 folate, B12 cobalamin. So we've got a lot of B vitamins here. Also amino acids, highly important too. Where do you get those from? Oh, just protein. It's protein. You know it as protein, that you get macronutrients actually. Those break down and are being digested to amino acids. Those are really important for phase 1 detoxification. You've also got other things like glutathione, which you can see down here. This also helps phase 1 detoxification. And there are some certain natural things too that are essential for us, with which you can actually increase glutathione levels inside of your body without directly taking glutathione, because I do not recommend you taking this as a supplement. Generally, I actually don't recommend taking any of these as a supplement because especially when talking about the liver, they might hurt you more. Specifically when looking at things like zinc. This also plays a minor role here, but taking zinc as a supplement, especially in these dosages that you can find online, this is actually gonna hurt you more than help you. So you need these things, but in smaller amounts. Zinc, important, and flavonoids. However, flavonoids aren't essential for us, so rather focus on the really essential stuff that I talked about, B vitamins and amino acids, really important here. And then we are gonna move on to phase 2 detoxification. Phase 2 detoxification. Phase 2 detoxification essentially calms everything down again that we produced during phase 1 detoxification via a process called conjugation. And what this basically means is we're binding certain molecules to this toxin. And let's just imagine, although this is glutathione, this is not a toxin, let's just imagine for a second this is the toxin. What we would be doing is taking the sulfate ion here and binding it somewhere. And this is the cool part. This again makes it more water soluble. And that basically means we can excrete it more easily. And there are certain ways we can do this. Again, a lot of pathways. I don't want to get stuck in them, but one is sulfation. The other one is actually glutathione conjugation with the help of these amino acids. Here you can see one. This is glycine there. And you also have cysteine and methionine that are important. Moreover, you've even got another pathway. It's like a small word down here because it's so hard to pronounce, but it's glucuronidation. Yep. If you want to know it specifically, magnesium, omega-3, flavonoids and carotenoids are important for this one. However, overall, the nutrients that you can use to improve phase 1 or phase 2 detoxification are, and very important, I want to start with the biggest ones again. It's actually amino acids once more, because look at this. Those are all amino acids. And also B vitamins. This time I only wrote B vitamins, but remember, those are all of these, a lot of vitamins. Not just, most people always say B vitamins. I just want you to realize it's really a big group. It's not just like vitamin C, one single vitamin. It's a group. Then you've got flavonoids, carotenoids again. This is good. I'm just saying, focus more on really the essential ones in my opinion, but they're great as well. Again, for this thing here, important. Then we've got zinc, selenium, also important. Just be very mindful not to get too much of them because this is very typical. This will actually damage your liver more. Sulfur. Yeah, sulfur, of course, for sulfation. Just be mindful. There are people that have sulfation issues, and if you've got any problem with sulfur, there's no benefit of you taking it then. See, your body, especially your liver, it can also use glutathione conjugation usually if it can't use sulfation. So just focus on getting something here. And when it comes to sulfur, well, yeah, if you can't get it, you can't get it. That's just what I'm going to say. If you take sulfur and you have sulfur intolerance, like you're going to get bloating, digestive issues, or you, even worse, you feel weak. Oh, that's not very good. And we've got magnesium and omega-3, In terms of omega-3, specifically DHA is very important. That's seafood. So not the plant omega-3, you actually want to get seafood. And of course, as for phase 1 detoxification, we had glutathione, and also here we have glutathione. So as you can see, this is really, really important for both of these to have good glutathione levels. This is why it's being used in so many detox protocols. I'm just going to say I don't recommend taking any supplements in terms of that. Phase 3 detoxification. Last but not least, we've got phase number 3. And this is all about excretion. And there are really 2 major pathways. Now we hopefully have it very water soluble. And one way to excrete these toxins now is actually via the kidneys and the urine. Now the kidney can only deal with water soluble ones. However, there is, first of all, the kidney won't necessarily be dealing with every single one of those. So we definitely need, this is actually being put into bile. Your liver produces something called bile. sends it to the gallbladder, and the gallbladder then sends out this bile whenever you eat something. And you need something like fiber to absorb it. And this is what many people don't understand and forget about, because if you don't have fiber, you run the risk of reabsorbing the toxins and actually then basically getting back to your liver. And then you keep having all of these toxins, although maybe you have phase 1, phase 2 detoxification running really good. Also, you've got the problem that certain toxins just can't be dealt with by phase 1 or phase 2 detoxification, or they just can't be made water soluble. Maybe, yeah, you made them more water soluble, but they're just still fat soluble. There's just nothing your liver can do at this point in terms of making it more water soluble. So what it will actually try to do is just put it into phase 3 directly. So it will put it into the excretion, into the bile, and thus hope that there's something inside of your digestive system that can absorb it, like fiber. And this is why fiber is actually highly important, and also your circadian rhythm, so that you have a good rhythm, good bowel movements. Of course, circadian rhythm, again, also for everything else, really important. Can't stress this enough. But with excretion, it is highly important. And there are really things. Sometimes you hear about people being on the carnivore diet, having no fiber, and basically clearing their non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Well, let me tell you, there are different forms of non-alcoholic fatty, or of liver disease in general. And it sometimes depends on what specifically is inside of your liver. I'm gonna tell you, certain people like me, if I went on the carnivore diet, this would be a really bad idea actually. And I, for example, needed more of the phase 3 detoxification. However, this guy that you heard about on the carnivore diet, hey, he probably needed the phase 1 and phase 2, and there the carnivore diet can really help you. But there are certain things that can only be excreted, and this is why this is so important. And especially if you worry about things that are really hard to get rid of, like very harmful toxins, well, you should really also have this on your mind. You should think about this, because what do you really need here? Amino acids, B vitamins. End of the story. Yeah, you can also get some of that other stuff, that's great, but you also need the excretion. Now, I actually want to bring this video to the next level and give you even more here. And because there's just so much misinformation out there on this topic. Really, there are people that show you these commercial stock footages of someone eating a banana in slow motion, or like eating vegetables and like, hey, yeah, this is how you detox your liver. Yeah, sure. The vegetables and the fruits full of glyphosate, they're for sure gonna detox your liver. And see, this is really the problem. This is a big marketing thing that we see here, especially of the alternative world, and it's often highly over-exaggerated, right? You're always being told like, oh, you're toxic and you need to detox. It is true. Even fasting, if you see it from a specific viewpoint, you could say it detoxes you. But generally, I wouldn't say that you're detoxing when you're fasting. The only thing you're really doing is that you're not getting more toxins. And yeah, there are benefits to fasting, but this is... Do you get B vitamins when fasting? Amino acids? I don't think so. Are you getting amino acids when you're eating a banana? I don't think so. You're getting some fiber, yeah, at least that, but it has other issues. And see, this is really what I want you to understand. Don't trust too much. Make it simple. It's not that hard to understand. Now keep in mind, fixing fatty liver disease usually takes a long time and a lot of effort. So you need to have consistency and of course the correct knowledge, otherwise you're going down the wrong path. This would be the worst thing ever. Now, because there's so much misinformation out there on this topic, I'm gonna give you a small framework that actually works, where there's science behind that, and with which you can actually fix your liver. The most important thing probably is gonna be for you to optimize your nutrient levels. And really, I don't mean get as much nutrients as possible via supplements or anything. Don't take any supplements. If you're currently taking supplements, cut them out, because they're probably making your liver problems worse. I also don't care if it's silymarin or... Do you really know what these things are doing? Oh, right. So, what I recommend to you is getting nutrients naturally now. And if you need help with that, you can check out my nutrient fact sheets. There you can also see how to correct them and what toxicity symptoms are and how you can correct them too. Now, furthermore, I would recommend to you get fiber. Make sure you're getting some fiber in your meals so that you don't reabsorb these things all the time. This might be more important or less important, it really depends on, but there's no downside to getting some more fiber. Also, another thing is going to be very important, optimize your circadian rhythm, because this has to do with sort of everything. And I also have a free blue blocking course out there now that you can check out for free. I've cured my own liver issues that I had to deal with due to a vitamin A toxicity, and I found a way to do this pretty fast. Not 2 weeks, but significantly less than several years. And this is actually one of the things that you will get in a consultation. There is more than food and exercise to heal. Good luck on your journey.